The Cleveland Browns have me, or I should say, Paul DePodesta, the baseball nerd. This is what I don't get. You know, they got this nerd Chops, who was one of these little nerds. Anyone could get a job writing for a football little publication that nobody knows about. So he wrote for a little publication, whatever. And now these clowns, these nerds that follow his podcast, not his podcast, his spaces, think he's like some kind of legend. Like he knows what he's talking about. He knows nothing. So this clown goes out there, and I listen to his spaces, and it's just embarrassing. He knows nothing about football. And his nerds are like, after that press conference yesterday, he's like, oh my God, I am so elated to hear what I have no worries moving forward now. That's what they're saying. This is how dumb they are. They don't even know what the IV code is. You know how me and my people discovered the IV code? Well, basically it was me, but I did have some help. Someone pointed out to me, I knew DePodesta. All the coaches had to bring their homework to them. But I honestly thought that was just the thing that happened and they moved on from it. But then when this guy told me about it, I actually did some studying in depth to it. And I figured I busted the IV code. The IV code that Tony Grossi's finally talking about, I stopped. I figured it out. But these clowns don't understand. You know what they are? They're like Chops, and I'm like, it's information. Yeah, it's information that the Cleveland Browns took and built their whole fucking team around that information. Everything they do is based on that information. Let's draft 210-pound linebackers. Let's get 270-pound defensive tackles for whatever reason. You're never dropping it back in coverage. I have no clue why. But everything they do is based on analytics. Every play they call is based on analytics. You notice Stefanski used to be this 20-yard box offense. Now he's wide open, air assault offense with no receivers. He's got a number 2 receiver in Cooper. That's it. We don't have the talent to do what they want to do. But we have the talent to be a physical, ground and pound football team, but they don't want to do that because they want to show everybody that we can win this way. Instead of winning football games the way they used to win before DePodesta took over, because we would have been 12-5 with Stefanski coaching normal. But they want to win their way, and what their way is wide open air assault. They want to throw on 4th and 1. Everything has to be done their way, so when the Browns win, people will say, man, the analytics is really paying off. Winning the normal way of football is secondary. That doesn't matter. It's got to be their way and their way only. Tony Grossi said something to this extent, that they want to win their way. But I'm going a step farther. They want to win their way and their way only. You could win games the old-fashioned way. They won't do it. They refuse to do it. And that's what pisses me off. And I listen, because Stefanski's not a good coach. I never liked him as a coach. His offense is fucking bland. It's predictable. And that's why everyone's just sitting on routes. Everybody knows what we're doing. But here's the problem. He allowed DePodesta to put him on strings to the point where he's not even usable as a head coach anymore. These players know, when they watch my videos and they start thinking about it, they already know anyway. They're like, this guy sacrificed the season of our careers for an experiment. That's all this is a fucking experiment. And I can't believe more people ain't on board with it. Chops, he don't know football. He's actually happy about it. I have there's nothing moving forward with the Cleveland Browns with Kevin Stefanski and DePodesta. Nothing. You can't be happy about it. It is the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen in your life, what's going on in Cleveland. Nobody is talking about Cleveland. You know why? Because the NFL experts are like, they're doing something weird over there. And if they ever studied it, what they're doing, they'd figure it out simple. The Cleveland Browns have a no-win situation right now. Paul DePodesta is calling. People think he's not calling the plays. Listen, look at Stefanski on the sidelines. He's 50 yards away from his team. You ever see him on the sidelines? He's always in that headset with that fucking menu embedded in his face. Even when they're on defense, that's DePodesta in his ear telling him what to call, when to call it, how to call it. I guarantee it. That's why, because Stefanski never, ever called plays like he's doing this year. Ever. And I can't believe people don't see it. You just got to open your eyes, and once you open your eyes to it, you'll see what he's doing. DePodesta has infiltrated Kevin Stefanski, put him on strings, and all Kevin Stefanski now is a mouthpiece. What DePodesta calls, it goes to Stefanski, and it goes to the quarterback. And Deshaun Watson, I don't know how he can accept it, because it's actually, Paul DePodesta made Deshaun Watson look like Baker Mayfield, even worse. That's the honest to God truth. You know how hard it is to make someone like Deshaun Watson look bad? Well, Paul DePodesta did it. He's the one calling plays. Stefanski's just a relayer. He's the middle guy to Deshaun. I mean, it's just the honest to God truth. And people can't see that. You have to fire. Listen, DePodesta needs fired immediately. Because I'll guarantee you Stefanski will go back to his 20-yard box offense with the occasional throws downfield. And honestly, with Deshaun Watson, you can run any offense you want. But He'll go back to his smart football. And like I said, he was never a good coach, but he's never been this bad. Right now, he's not even usable. And I don't even want him as a coach because he allowed another man to put him on strings. But I got to say, the biggest cancer we have is Paul DePodesta. It's not even close. And Jimmy Haslam, he gave him a 5-year extension. Sandy Alomar Jr. Look at that baseball card. Oh, look at another baseball card. Man, I found a gold mine. Look, baseball cards. But anyway, I want to see these. I'm going to throw them out. David Cohn. But anyway, Stefanski's useless. I can't believe I found these baseball cards. Look at Larry Sheets. And if you listen to Chops' Spaces, there's a bunch of nerds in there. They know nothing about football. When I watched that press conference yesterday, Andrew Berry, Stefanski, I seen two arrogant clowns that are pulling the wool over the Cleveland Indians or Cleveland Browns fan base. They know they pulled out an experiment this year, and they're going to do it again next year. See, what happened is when Watson got suspended, they already wrote the season off. They wanted to win their way and their way only. And I can't believe people are allowing it to happen. Well, I'm not. I'm done with this team until they fire Paul DePodesta. And honestly, the players, you notice the players, there's no accountability. They don't want to play for Stefanski. Why doesn't Jimmy Haslam see this? I'll tell you why he doesn't see it. Because he gave Paul DePodesta a 5-year extension because he's a dumbass. So if he fires DePodesta, he owes him for 5 years. So he can fire him. Jimmy Haslam's the worst owner in football. Jay Crawford said this months ago, and I disagreed with him. He's the worst owner in football. I wish he's worse than Modell. He's ruined this team. And I'm waiting for a prescription, whatever. And I just can't handle it no more. And you can't change football teams. You can't. But I'm going with the Detroit Lions. Because I like Dan Campbell, which, by the way, I was wrong about. I said he's raw. He's good. He's a beast. That team plays for him. They love him. And I'm a Detroit Lion fan now. I didn't want to leave the Browns, but I cannot watch a team run by analytic nerds. If you look at the Browns games last year, we lost 5 games that we should have won. We had 5 guaranteed victories. If they would have won, if they would have played the old style football instead of trying to win their way, we're 12-5 right now. We're in the playoffs. That's what that's what Paul DePodesta did to this organization. He fucked it. And I can't sit back and watch it. I can't watch it idly. So I'm a Detroit Lion fan. Detroit Lions are on the come up. It's a good run program. And the Cleveland Browns, if you're a Browns fan, you should demand Jimmy Haslam to sell the team or not watch him. I'm thinking about getting a class action lawsuit. And if you notice, ever since the fucking Chargers game this year, when we lost that game, when Brandon Staley gave us the game, and Stefanski didn't want to take it, I stopped caring about the Browns. I don't even watch them no more. I mean, I watch them, but I don't care. When they lose, I used to get real pissed off. Now when they lose, I don't even care. So Jimmy Haslam, Cleveland, you can take your 8 championships. I don't give a fuck. Fuck those 8 championships. I'm done with you guys. I'm a Detroit Lion fan. And I also got Larry Sheets, Sandy Alomar. Hold up. Larry Sheets, Sandy Alomar, Kirk McCaskill, David Cohn, and Cecilio Galante. And I'm going to rip them in half right now because I don't want them. What if they're worth millions of dollars? I doubt it. Anyway, Cleveland Browns fans, you got a dilemma in Cleveland. They fired Joe Woods, who, by the way, was a scapegoat. The players weren't following their gap integrity. Like Gerard Cherry said, they're trying to be heroes, make plays when they shouldn't. Do your job. And no one's held accountable there. That's the problem. That starts from the head man of Stefanski. He don't care about nothing but that fucking magnify this by 50 times. That's Stefanski all fucking game long in that fucking play sheet. I'm done with him. And you should too.